I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gone.
Welcome to Yakety Mac, y'all. I'd like to introduce you to my new 2025 Jackson Big Rig FD. If Jackson Kayak isn't on your radar, well, that's not your fault. There's virtually no content available to put them there. And that's a real shame because the crew up in Sparta, Tennessee, they're banging out a fantastic line of kayaks, and this community needs to know more about it. Which begs the question, Jackson, where are your ambassadors? So y'all, I have decided to appoint myself an ambassador starting today. This is part one in a series of reviews I'm going to do on this big rig. I'm going to give you a perspective that you're not getting anywhere else. If you'd like to learn more, please subscribe and stay tuned. So for today's video, we are going to do a walkthrough bow to stern just to get you more familiar with some of the features of this kayak. And this is coming from someone who's actually spent a little time in the seat. I was able to get out for about 5 hours the other day, kind of learn the kayak and do a little bit of fishing. So I think I've got some insight there. So we're going to start here at the front. I'm going to talk about a drain plug, and I can't believe I'm talking about a drain plug, but I love the fact that this is recessed into the kayak. So if you trailer this and you've got a winch with a hook on it, you don't have to worry about the hook snapping off the drain plug. On back from that, we've got this nice soft grip handle. I really like the soft handle as opposed to a rigid handle. You're really able to get your hand in and out of there the way you want to. You're able to grip it from either direction. And it's got a really nice, comfortable kind of rubberized grip on it. Just behind that, we've got this nice hatch that opens up wide. I'm easily able to get fishing poles in there. I was able to break down my kayak paddle and slide that in there. Also comes with a storage bin. Now this is not the deepest. It's like, I think, I'll put a measurement up here. I think it's like right about 4 inches deep. And this isn't the widest opening you're gonna see in a kayak, but that's because of these rod tube holders, which we'll get to here in just a moment. But the inside of the hull, the cavern in there, is quite deep, quite spacious. And I'm assuming the tray is shallow to allow for people who really want to put a lot of gear in there, whether it's sleeping bags or camping type of equipment, to be able to do so without that tray interfering. I'm thinking of a mod for this since I'm not going to fill up my hull with stuff like that. We'll see if that happens to be a future video. Okay guys, coming on back just a little bit more, of course we've got the new Mark IV Flex Drive. I'm going to do more in depth on this when we get this out on the water, but so far it is pretty fantastic. And being able to lower and raise the prop with this handle right here, I can't do it now because of the way the trailer is set up. This is absolutely phenomenal. Found it to be very quiet. I found it to be very efficient. When I do the video on the water, we'll test the speed and we'll test its agility and those sort of things. Of course, you've got the little hatch right here, allow you to access your prop, close that back down. And then you'll see, guys, this whole cockpit area is covered with a really nice deck padding. And I was amazed at how much this really quiets the ride when you're out on the water. Really nice, soft touch to it. If you're someone that kayaks barefoot, or you think you might want to, or you just want to stand, it really gives you a nice platform to stand on, and it makes it anti-slip as well. Then here on each gunnel, we've got some nice aluminum gear tracks, and you can see that you can access those from the middle or the ends. And since we're at the gunnels, let's just go ahead and talk about these rod troughs. Fantastic for putting rods into. I did not use, this comes with 2 holders, and I'll show one of those to you here. I did not use those. I just laid the rods in for the first time. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the rod holders or not. I'll experiment with that and see how it goes. But this rod trough is fantastic for laying your rods horizontal. Put your rod tips in here and you can protect them. So if you're going to go through some brush or something of that sort, or you're under some really low trees, this is fantastic, and they're not in your way at all. And you can see over on that side of the gunnel, I've got where the paddle clips that come for to hold the paddle in. You can put those on either side. They've got the screw holes already set over here, the brass inserts, very nice and very sturdy for holding the paddle. Now we're going to get to the seat, guys. This is Jackson's high-low seating system, and again, it's fantastic. I used this all day. Well, for the 5 hours I was there, I used this in the high position. Of course, it's very easy for you to put it in the low position, raise it up while you're out on the water. And since we're talking about the seat, I want to address something. If any of you have watched any other walkthrough videos, perhaps you have seen Andy's video from the Bearded Paddler, where he talks about the potential for the steering system, which we're going to get to here in just a second, of hitting this if the seat is back too far. Well, that was a 2024 video that he made, so I'm not sure if Jackson has changed anything with 25, maybe moved the rails up or whatever, but I can tell you, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Unless you're the size of Shaq, you're not going to want to move this seat far enough back to interfere with your steering. I'll put it into perspective for you. I am 5'11", and I've got a 32-inch inseam. And you'll see right here, I've got this about an inch away from being up as far as it can go. And I'm not cramp pedaling. That's just a nice gait. I'm not extended out too far. I originally started out with this about 2.5 inches back, and I found my legs extending too far out for the pedals. So I don't think this is going to be an issue with having the seat back too far. In fact, if there's any issue at all, I see it the other direction. If you happen to be, say, 5'8" or shorter, then you may actually struggle pedaling this thing, because again, at 5'11", 32-inch inseam, I'm almost up as far as it will go. Now you can get closer by dropping it into the low position, but then that's going to mean a lot of switching back and forth, and I don't think anybody really wants that. So take that into consideration. So the steering, by far on this, the hardest thing to get used to. Of course, it's just back and forth, and then you can see here it says right and left on this one side over here. What you've got to learn to do, I think, is just steer with one hand. I was so used to steering with my left hand that I need to train myself to steer with my right hand. I'm a lefty, so I'm going to be casting with my left hand. And this over here takes some getting used to. I've got a tournament tomorrow, 9 hours on the water. I better get used to real quick. Right here beside the seat, guys, we've got a couple of more gear tracks, which are really nice for storing things. This does not have a cup holder on it, so if you want to add a cup holder, track mounted cup holder, I've got a couple of them that I've picked up. You can mount those right there if you want to. Let's move back behind the seat. Okay, so behind the seat, we've got two flush mounted rod holders. You've also got this divot cut out just behind this rest right here, where you could put a fly reel if you wanted to. And of course you could latch it down into place right there. You've also got another piece of track running across the kayak. Now, this is a pretty good sized tank well, but it might not be as huge as you would think. That was the biggest surprise for me moving to this kayak, was as I was expecting this ginormous tank well, and it's good size. But because of this right here, the track going across, it does kind of limit it a little bit, and I'll put a tape measure on it right here for you so you can see. I think it's 19.5 wide, and I don't remember the depth of it here, but you'll be able to see it here on the video. You've also got a couple of scuppers here, and I failed to mention the transducer scupper is just under the seat up there, and I've already got my transducer wire run through and out the front of the kayak to the already pre-installed outlet up there where you can bring your transducer and your power wires through. I'll show you that here real quick too. And so here's the tank well, and then last we've got this hatch here on the back end. Opens up, allows you access into the hull. You can store some more stuff in here. This right here is your rudder control system if you need to get to it. And so that is the overview of the big rig. My initial impressions of it is I was absolutely blown away. Prior to being in this kayak, the only one I had really been in outside of a paddle vibe about 4 years ago was my Old Town 106 PDL. I was blown away the difference between these two kayaks. I was kind of giddy. It's amazing, guys. And when you consider this is a $2,700 kayak, you've got to be kidding me. Fantastic value. I cannot wait to get you guys out on the water. I can't wait to get out on the water myself. In fact, tomorrow's tournament, I can't wait for that. I'm excited to be able to do things with this kayak that I was not able to do with others. If you'd like to see that and you'd like to see more of these videos, I sure hope you will become a subscriber. If you've got any questions, leave them for me in the comments below, guys. Do me a favor and like this video, and then share this video if you are so inclined. I appreciate you all hanging out with me today. There's a lot more to come. Jackson, call me. I'm kidding. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, guys, thank you for hanging out with me. And no matter what you've got going on in your life, I hope you'll always take some time to get outside and play.